Hey guys, I am back. We are doing another viewer request today, and I feel bad because this one took a lot longer than I thought. And this is somebody who's actually waiting on a purchase based on my review and my opinion in this knife, so I apologize. I won't call you out by name, but let me explain what happened. I was convinced I had this knife already because it looks very similar to one that I actually had. And then when I started looking up specs, I already started recording this video. I started looking up specs and I said, I don't have that knife at all. So I did the only rational thing I could think of, which was to immediately order the actual knife that I thought I had, that I was supposed to do a viewer request of, and it was back ordered for a minute, but I got it. Here it is. We're gonna do it. We're gonna compare it to the one that I thought it was in the first place, and we are gonna get this viewer request uploaded, and hopefully it is not too late. So, sorry, but we're gonna get this done. I want to do some shoutouts today, and I said this in another video. I don't know which video is going to be uploaded first and made public, this one or the previous one. I've been having some problems lately with comments. So when you do a comment on a video, it may be published immediately, or for reasons unknown, YouTube may file it in two different sections, one called held for review and one called potential spam. And I don't get a notification that says, like, go look at these folders. It just puts stuff in there. And hopefully I remember once a day, which I don't, to go look at these other folders. For some reason, and I don't know why, lately, in the last week, 2 weeks, I am getting a metric shit ton, which is a lot more than an imperial shit ton, of comments that have been automatically filed in potential spam, especially ones where people are asking for shoutouts. I just don't know why. And I wrote to the YouTube creator support to ask why, and they're like, they gave me a very technical answer that actually didn't answer anything. So if you have asked for a shout out, when you ask for a shout out, it is always my thing to say, like, hey, I got you on the list. Okay, I got it. You got it. Something. You will get a response. If you have asked for a shout out and you have not gotten a response from me, either I have not seen that or it has gone to that spam folder. And the thing is, as comments go on and on and on, by the time I find one that's in the spam folder, it's almost impossible sometimes for me to track down the actual comment, in the list of comments to go back and answer it. So it doesn't mean I haven't gotten it, and you are free to request another shout out if I have not answered your shout out request, but I probably have seen it and put you on the list, just so you know. I'm not ignoring you guys. So today's shout outs, and there are some cool names on this. Supreme Chimp, I love Supreme Chimp. John Manuel, Connor Tilk, who I thought I gave a shout out to previously, but I might have just put you on the list and forgotten. CRI Swigglemouth, who I swear is on like their third or fourth shout out at this point, but you know what? That's fine. I don't mind. Joshua Harrison and Toy Sector 220. Toy Sector 220 reminds me of the movie Toys with Robin Williams, which is one of the weirdest things he's ever done. It's one of the weirdest movies ever. All right, so hope that explains why I have not been responding to comments as much as I used to be. But let's get on with this. All right, so this viewer request was to take a look at the Kershaw Pico to find out, they want to pick up the Kershaw Pico, and they wanted to know my opinion of it. And I said, cool, let me give you my opinion of it. I have one. So literally the day I moved from Florida, I was in the car. I stopped at Walmart to pick up a couple things for the drive, and I was bored, stopped the knife counter, picked up 3 knives, one of which was the CRKT Spew. I picked up a Gerber, and I picked up this Kershaw. I thought that, just on the outside, I thought it was the Pico as I was just sort of talking to this person. And in my defense, they're not that different, right? Turns out, the whole time I said I had the Pico and I would do a video, I had the Amplitude. And I have not done a video of this. I didn't even do anything with this. Basically, I bought it to mess around with in the car. And yes, I recognize that is a stupid thing to do, to mess with knives in the car. But one of my stress relieves when I'm kind of bored or just like feeling a little stressed out is I will just snap open and close a knife. And it drives people around me crazy, but it's what I like to do. I saw the Amplitude in the case at Walmart, and I grabbed it thinking it's relatively inexpensive. It's small, all metal design. I liked it. Well, so is the Pico. I really thought legitimately I had the Pico. We're doing one, we might as well do the other. One is almost like the big brother of the other. So this is an unboxing for me. I have not seen the Pico yet. I have not laid hands on the Pico. We'll kind of compare the two since they're very similar. And then I will give my ultimate kind of opinion on the Pico and the Amplitude. Patreon guys have seen the video where I looked at the Pico. See, I just did it again. Where I looked at the Amplitude, Anna Gerber, and the Spew for the first time in the car. I made a video with my phone in the car playing with knives. I'm such a horrible example for all things good and proper in the world. But that was like months ago. So this has not been used. I have not carried it. It has basically sat in a box since I got it. So it is almost as brand new as the Pico is. So first, let's take a look at the Pico, since this is the main subject of the whole thing. So I have heard good things about the Pico. I have never used it. It is pretty small. You guys know how I feel about small knives. Kershaw, though, being one of my favorite lower budget brands, and yes, they do make some knives that are pretty expensive, and yes, they are in the same family as Zero Tolerance, and Zero Tolerance is not really a low budget brand. Kershaw is excellent quality for the money spent overall. So to start with the Pico, you've got all steel construction. So you've got a steel frame lock, steel scale on the other side. You've got a tiny little liner in there. Plastic backspacer, which I guess might save on some weight, but it'd be cool if they gave you like a sculpted steel backspacer in there too, although that would probably raise the price. Kind of, they call it a decorative pivot. It's got a little, design to it. Deep carry clip, but again, it's one where it's mounted kind of down on the knife too. Now, I've been talking to some people, and they've said, hey, there is a little bit of advantage to that. It gives you a little bit of the knife to grab onto, or if you have a lanyard hole like this, it comes out of the pocket. I don't know. If I have a deep carry clip, I want it like this one, where the whole knife is in the pocket. Like, to me, that's the point of a deep carry clip. But it is what it is. At least it's not a regular clip, so you have only that much sticking out of the pocket instead of all of that. Centering is very nearly perfect, and I'm willing to bet there's a little bit of wiggle room, in the whole product line. And this is to the point where I'm not so worried about that. I mean, that's barely anything. Fit and finish is just good all over the place on this knife, like most Kershaws. I think if you get a Kershaw that doesn't have great fit and finish, you've got a fluke, you've got a dud in the product line. For the most part, even though a lot of their knives are assembled overseas, most of their knives are assembled and built overseas. Their quality control is great. They do take a lot of pride in what they produce, and they have such a huge product line too. So it's got the speed safe system. Oh, that's actually a really nice finish on the blade too. I love the two-tone finish. Take a look at it. You've got satin flats, and then you've got the stone wash on the swedge and the blade. That actually is a really nice look. And somebody like Hinderer is only going to do that on a special edition too. That's not going to be a production knife for a lot of companies. So that's really cool. So drop point blade, big belly on that, lots of cutting surface. Kind of your standard, lower end Kershaw steel. But I guess it's comfortable. For my hand though, you know how I feel about these small knives. On the other hand, I do have a couple small knives that I don't mind at all. If you're into the small knife thing, this is good. This works. It's easy to grip. It's got kind of a bead blast finish, which doesn't provide a whole lot of grip, but it's one of those things where it's easier to feel than describe. It's got a little bit of a texture to it. It's not slick. This has a slicker feel than this one does. And the shape is just enough that you can grip it, and you've got these little tiny jimping cuts on the top. So the jimping there does let your thumb grip on there. So you can get a good grip on it. It's just, it's small for people with big Gorilla Goon hands like me. But like I said, a lot of people in an EDC, they want it small, unobtrusive. They don't want something like big in their pocket or their hands. Clip is reversible left and right, but guess what? It is tip up only. So if you're in the tip down crowd, I don't like you. I'm just kidding. If you're in the tip down crowd, you don't have any options there. But being a tip up fan, I'm fine with that. I think that design wise, I think it looks great. It really does look nice. Frame lock, very early lockup, the way it's designed. I really like that. I don't have my gloves with me, so I'm risking serious bodily injury for you guys. Cool. Very easy to disengage the lock, no problem, not uncomfortable. You don't have to make the decision. This is not a push-button flipper at all. There's no question about it. But it's a very easy light switch flip. I think the speed safe system that Kershaw uses is probably one of the best spring assist systems like in the world. I love it. It's simple. If you've ever taken it apart, incredibly simple, incredibly reliable. And it's just got a feel and a sound to it that is awesome. Like, it's exactly what I want in a spring assist knife. So the Pico, like right now, except for the size, and if you want the small size knife, I think it's winning in a lot of ways. I like it a lot. Especially that blade finish. Like, if you want a knife, I know I'm always saying that looks are secondary to function, and I still believe that it's true. But at the same time, if all things being equal, you want a knife that looks good. You want a knife that you feel good about the way it looks. You don't want one that looks like an M-Tech. I mean, if you have one that functions well and is built well, and you can have one that looks stylish and has a nice finish to it versus one that looks like crap, of course you want one that looks nice. So I think this one has a really nice, classy look to it also. So the Amplitude, unlike the Pico, it is no liner. It's a frame lock as well, but it's just one big chunk of steel on the other side. No back spacer. It's got barrel spacers, and if you can see, it's got a nice blue ano job in the middle, and then decorative pivot also, blue ano on there. Construction's very similar though. True deep carry clip that is reversible again, left or right, but tip up only. And the lines on this are so clean. There's really virtually, besides the screws, there's nothing to even ponder fit and finish wise. I mean, it is just two solid pieces of steel, and then this little spacer. Everything on this is great. Perfectly centered. Very similar kind of flipper. There is no push button on this. It is light switch only. The weight is a little bit more than the Pico, but not much. Slightly bigger handle, so if you're into the bigger handle, this is pretty good for you. But design features are very similar. Also has the speed safe system, so awesome, reliable, assisted opening every time. Little bit of a different blade shape, so more of a straight edge as opposed to the big curved belly. And that's all personal preference. How do you want to use your edge? Different designers, different design philosophies. Same job. Can I get the names there? One is Rexford, one is George. They have their personal styles, that's all. This reminds me kind of a big leak, Comfort-wise, the handle on this I like a little bit better because it's a little bit bigger. It just fills my hand a little bit more. I feel like my pinkies are going to slip off of it. It's got the same kind of jimping, though, right up there by the thumb. But like I said, even though two different designers, two different designs, it is remarkably similar in terms of construction and fit and everything. Frame lock there. Again, very early lockup, lots of life in there. Solid lock. Just as easy to get your thumb on there and disengage. Both of them, no discomfort whatsoever, closing it up, no problems. Two solid knives. Same blade steel on either one. So really what it comes down to is your preference. Oh, well, that's not cool. Now again, I say this all the time, all we're looking at now is how the blade is finished out of the package. This could be a fluke of a knife. This could be how the whole production line is done. But in reality, look, a little bit time on, even just stropping this could fix that and make it razor sharp. But pretending it is indicative of the whole product line, if we want to, out of the package, I think we know which one we'd want to carry, right? But, let's see. Let's see. I like knives where you don't even have to slide it across the belly. Like, that to me is a well-finished blade. That's pretty good. I doubt we're going to be able to do that with this one. Nope. But, pretty nice clean cut, easy to cut the cord. Just, you know, it doesn't come finished as nicely, that's all. We can put the same kind of edge on this with just a little bit of sharpening. Yes, the sharpening video is coming very soon. I've gathered all my supplies. I just need time and space and a lot of quiet time to do it. So, the viewer request was, what's my evaluation of the Pico? What do I think of it? I think highly of it. I like the Pico. I'd love to see this in what I consider like a full size, like a 3.5, 4-inch blade, you know, full frame design. More of a hard use knife. I think this would be great. You know, give me like a 3-4 millimeter thick blade. This exact same design. Man, I would carry that thing and abuse the hell out of it. That'd be awesome. So I hope that answers your question. I hope you that little evaluation is what you were looking for. I think it's a really good knife. I think it's big brother. I think it's bigger brother or cousin, probably would be closer, is good too. Don't let that paper test fool you. I still think there's a lot of value in this knife. So anyway, guys, again, I love doing requests for viewers. I can't do them all at once. I know there's a lot of requests for a lot of things, you know, and I get to them as I can. It's obviously easier for me to pick up a knife like this than, for example, I've got a couple requests to do CDS survival knives, and they can be upwards of like $150, $200. It's easier for me to do these ones. I never reject a request. I put them all, you know, on a list, and I get to them when I can. So please don't think that just because you've requested something and haven't done it, it means I'm like scoffing it or not going to do it. But anyway, if you have a video you'd like to see, or you have an idea or something you just think you're interested in, or you think would be good, you can send it, and I'll put it in the video description too. But docp96@gmail.com. Just go ahead and send me your idea. Tell me what you'd like to see, what you think would be good, or, you know, if there's something that you're really interested in, I'll be glad to see what I can do for you, okay? All right, you guys are awesome. All of you. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back again real soon.